You chose absolutely right tuning in to Rwanda Television tonight. A very good evening to you indeed, and many thanks for joining us on today's edition. A sneak peek to it. These are the headlines. The central bank interest rate has dropped from 7 to 6.5%. Architects believe that there is significant room for improvement in urban planning and construction. A very good evening to you once again, and thank you for your company on Rwanda Television News. And as we started off, the central bank interest rate has dropped from 7 to 6.5%. William Evans Mutabazi starts us off.
The Monetary Policy Committee of the National Bank of Rwanda has taken a decision to decrease the central bank rate by 50 basis points to 6.5%. This was after the consideration that the inflation rate is expected to remain stable at approximately 5% in the next quarter. Rwanda's economy performed well in the previous quarter, registering strong recovery in the agricultural sector and sustained growth in the service and industry sector. Mr. John Rwangombwa, the governor of the National Bank, revealed that Rwanda's economy continues to show resilience amid its global economic challenges.
Although
we see this stability, we cannot just drop the central bank rate rapidly. This is why we continue to convene every quarter and continue to monitor how things unfold. And once everything is stable, then we can now lower it. That is where this decision came from. Market indicators reveal that Rwanda's economy remains on a positive trajectory, with inflation rates projected to stay around close to 5% in 2024-2025. On a global scale, prices of imported goods continue to drop, leading to a decline in inflation, and such factors therefore influence inflation rates on our market. Usually, agriculture and imported goods pose a significant challenge. However, we see that we have no insurmountable problems, which gives us confidence. Unless if we face unseen weather challenges, like little rain compared to what is expected. Although inflation is expected to remain within the target range, the projection is subject to risks like possible escalation of global geopolitical tensions, as well as adverse weather conditions. These could create uncertainties around international commodity prices and impact future agricultural supply and food prices, respectively. However, as the regulatory body, the National Bank will continue to monitor potential risks from the global supply chain and will revise these numbers where need be. Globally, economic indicators forecast a 3.3% growth, while Africa's economies, including Rwanda, are expected to grow to 4.1% by the end of 2025. William Evans Mutabazi, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, William. And still on this, the Central Bank of Rwanda's Financial Stability Committee reaffirmed the stability and resilience of the country's financial system, noting that a 20.18% increase in total assets by the end of June 2024 are reflecting a strong sector growth. We do have the details with Adam Squizera.
On Wednesday, the Central Bank of Rwanda presented findings from the Financial Stability Committee, which convened on August 19, 2024. The committee reaffirmed the stability of the country's financial system, emphasizing its resilience over the past 3 months. The governor of the Central Bank of Rwanda, John Rwangombwa, highlighted that the financial sector continued to grow robustly, with total assets in the sector increasing by 20.18% as the end of June 2024. This growth underscores the ongoing strength and expansion of Rwanda's financial system. The Central Bank of Rwanda also emphasized the growing dominance of electronic transactions, particularly within the wholesale and retail payment systems, which continue to operate smoothly. During a press conference followed the presentation of the Monetary Policy and Financial Stability Committee's findings, the Central Bank noted that the full automation of Umurenge SACCOs has been completed. Additionally, The consolidation of circles in Kigali is expected to be finalized by December this year, with the remaining districts scheduled for the completion by July 2025. The monetary policy highlighted that Rwanda's trade deficit expanded due to a 0.9% increase in merchandise exports during the second quarter of 2024, though this growth was constrained by weak coffee performance influenced by declining global commodity prices and seasonal factors that were inevitable worldwide. Consequently, merchandise imports rose by 6.4%. The governor of the Central Bank of Rwanda, John Gongonga, pointed out that the slight increases in core inflation were mitigated by a continued reduction in food inflation, largely thanks to the bumper harvest in Season A of 2024. Assuming no significant risk arise from geopolitical crises such as Russia-Ukraine war or unprecedented climate change shocks, Rwangonga mentioned that the National Bank of Rwanda PNR projects inflation to remain within the current range. Adam Squizera, RwandaTV News.
On Wednesday, members of the parliament elected chairpersons of 9 committees. This comes a week after their swearing in for the next 5-year mandate. Prince Manzi.
It is a plenary session in a special term as the term activities for the lower chamber of the parliament will officially begin November 2024. The elected today include Honorable Odette Wamaria, elected as the chairperson of the Committee on Budget and Patrimony, with Honorable P. Nizeyimana as the deputy chairperson. Both members of the parliament were in the previous mandate. The Public Accounts Committee will continue to be chaired by Honorable Valence Muhakwa, with Honorable Cecile Murumunawawo as the deputy chairperson of this committee, who was also a member of parliament in the previous mandate. For the Committee on Land, Agriculture, Livestock and Environment, the chairperson is Honorable Alice Muzana and the deputy chairperson is Specio Zainghamie. They both were in the previous mandate. In the Committee on Governance and Gender Affairs, new members of the parliament were elected, namely Anastase Nabahire as the chairperson and the Bonheur Jeanne d'Arc as the deputy chairperson. Theogene Munyangeyo was elected as the chairperson of the Committee on Economy and Trade, and Judith Mukarugwiza was elected deputy chairperson. The Committee on Education, Technology, Culture, Sports and Youth is chaired by Emma Furaha Rubagumya, who was the chairperson of the Committee on Governance and Gender Affairs in the previous mandate. Barinda Rutebuka, a new member of the parliament, was elected deputy chairperson of this committee. Ambassador Hope Tumukund Gasatura, a new member of the parliament, was elected chairperson of the Committee on Foreign Affairs, Cooperation, Security, with Jean-Claude Nezimana as the deputy chairperson. The chairperson of the Committee on Social Affairs is Honorable Venerand Wamaria, who was the chairperson of the Committee on Education in the previous mandate. The deputy chairperson of the Committee on Social Affairs is Christine Mukabunani, who was also a member in the previous mandate. The Committee on Unity, Human Rights and Fight Against Genocide will be chaired by Ndangiza Madina, whereas Philbert Wiringiyimana is the deputy chairperson. The activities of these 9 committees are held publicly and led by the chairperson, and if absent, activities are led by the deputy chairperson. When both the chairperson and the deputy chairperson are not available, the youngest in age in the deputies in the committee takes charge.
Thank you, Prince, for taking us through. About 300 architects from the Commonwealth countries agree that there is still significant room for improvement in urban planning and construction to effectively address the challenges posed by climate change. Architects, university lecturers, and construction experts from English-speaking countries have highlighted widespread issues such as poorly constructed buildings, inefficient use of land in construction, and the prevalence of unused buildings.
We have the regulations in place. We have a law that is governing the Architecture Institute of Architects and the engineers, but sometimes you find that the implementation of that law is where the challenge is. For example, we've been talking about the need to have the right practitioners. If you are a professional architect, what are you supposed to have? You are registered. But right now, we have people who are not registered that are practicing. And sometimes you find that they are the same ones who are being given different projects. And so we are really requesting that if together with the government we can be able to streamline practice and policy.
When urbanization is happening, climate change is likely to happen due to many other factors. But I want to tell you that the construction industry contributes to more than 30% of the effects, because this is about how we design our buildings. If our buildings are not ventilating very well, we need to use electricity to ventilate them. If our buildings are accumulating a lot of heat, we've not oriented them well, then we need to cool them. If the building materials that we are using to construct are not sustainable, that also brings issues. So if you look at Rwanda, for example, very few, even if you look around where we are standing now, very few buildings are still keeping what we call traditional materials, bricks, stones, wood. So most of these buildings that are coming up are using glass. Now this glass is not made here in Rwanda. They're importing it from China, from elsewhere.
What needs to be done is that we need to identify the flow, areas of flow, greater flow, where the crops and the people who are living for so many years need to be shifted, I would say, so that the climate change effect on water courses are reduced, minimize the human suffering, as well as agriculture, forest, and so on.
During the 3-day symposium and General Assembly of the Commonwealth Association of Architects that brought together about 300 professionals in this sector, they urged governments to take keen measures regarding the construction of buildings, especially in cities. The chairperson of the Commonwealth Association of Architects reiterates main areas of focus.
Key challenges for us are three things. First is advocacy, so it's making policymakers and the general public aware of the challenges that we face, and also the things that we need to do to capitalize on the opportunities of sustainable urbanization. The second is building capacity, so helping to ensure that built environment professionals have the right skills, that we also support those in the field that are dealing with these challenges on a day-to-day basis. And the third is climate action, because climate change affects all of us.
The permanent secretary in the Ministry of Infrastructure, Fidel Abimana, urged these professionals to intensify their efforts in constructing affordable buildings with a focus on proper, effective use of land.
Rwanda ni igihugu kidafite ubutaka bunini.
Rwanda does not have excessive land. For that reason, we need to start thinking of ways to construct upwards in order to utilize our land effectively. At the same time, those buildings must be environmentally friendly by using less energy and reducing the equipment that damage the environment. Since all the stakeholders are present in this conference, we think that through it we'll have ideas that can help us. Architecture still encounters challenges such as practitioners without formal training, individuals working outside professional associations, and those who disregard construction guidelines. Participants of the 3-day Early Childhood Development Conference expressed that it has greatly motivated them in their daily efforts to support young children's brain development. Enora Gladys with the report.
On its second day, the ECD conference brought together over 360 representatives from various institutions involved in child development programs. Attendees expressed that they learned a great deal, including insights on brain development from pregnancy and strategies to support learning through play.
ECD conference has motivated me to do more for the children in early childhood development. Like, for example, now in our center we have those children who are in a P2 and a P3 who failed in school. But due to our program, now they can read and write their names and they can start to talk even a bit in English. And I think that this conference has encouraged me or motivated me to do more for the younger children, so that in the future that program which I have for the lower primary school children is not necessary anymore.
Because there are guidelines to be provided in those centers, there is a way children should be taken care of. There is also an age target of the children we have to receive. So today we are going with a common target and the same mission to be able to
During the conference, several measures were proposed to improve early. She also highlighted that these centers have played a significant role in protecting children from domestic violence. The importance of ECD centers is very relevant to everyone, especially when we look at the behavior of the child, the way they perform in classes, in either their primary schools or even secondary schools. This protected our children from facing domestic violence in their homes. The minister further reminded participants that these centers do not replace the role of parents in a family. She emphasized that games and books are valuable tools in supporting a child's brain development and learning. Enora Gladys, RwandaTV News.
The Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources has announced that within 2 weeks, 26,000 tons of unsold rice from 12 districts will be sold at the targeted price.
In an exclusive interview with RBA, Dr. Olivier Kamana, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources, stated that as of August 18, 2024, ministry staff and representatives from the East Africa Exchange, which is purchasing the rice, have successfully reached all districts holding the rice stock.
The message we can give is comforting them and let them know that the Rwandan government acknowledges them and we got the solution of the problem. And the company of the EAA, together with the Ministry of Agriculture, we have started buying the rice produced that they didn't get the market before. I can't say that yesterday on 18th August Sunday, 132 tons in Bugarama were already bought, and we are proceeding today. And we are even paying the cultivators, since we have reached in all 11 districts that were remaining. We have workers of the Ministry of Agriculture and the EX in each part of the country so far. They shouldn't be bothered because we have solved the problem. In no later than 2 weeks, this problem will be a history.
Dr. Olivier Kamana went on to explain the primary reason for the initial lack of buyers.
It is true we got a good climate, but we took some measures to control the agriculture activities. But we got a challenge of not getting enough buyers because of the condition of the rice market in our region. Which made the rice produced spending a lot of time without being bought inside the country. And there is rice industries that normally transforms the rice, so you find that those industries were not able to take the whole rice. Because I had no capacity of receiving the rice in big quantity, because it was a lot. And there was even a problem of pricing, since the price that was set by the Ministry of Trade and Industries made that rice last long in the stores.
The Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources shows that the price of the rice that is not produced is 500 Rwandan francs per kilogram for the small quality, 505 Rwandan francs for the medium, and 515 for the long one, and the basmati is 775 Rwandan francs per kilogram. Enora Gladys, RwandaTV News.
And that's all from us here at RBA's Rwanda Television News. On behalf of the entire news production, as well as the technical team that made it happen, many thanks for being with us on today's edition. And up until next time, stay safe and have a great evening. Goodbye.